Okay. Well, hello everybody. This is Test Taking Strategies workshop. Today we're going to be talking about test taking strategies. Okay. So some key points that we're going to talk about in today's workshops are how to get prepared for a test, what to do in terms of performing the best on a test or on an exam in any course. So I always say be prepared, always arrive early to the test. So when you know that you have a test, you always want to be there a few minutes before just to settle down, listen to last minute instructions from the professor or from the TA. Always do a memory check before you take the test, or as soon as you receive that paper, do a memory check. Read the test directions, answer all the questions on the test, and then plan how do you want to use your time and plan to finish early. That's the most important. So when I say be prepared, I always say there's no substitution to preparation. You always have to study as many hours as necessary for a test. So there's no reason for you not to study. A lot of professors give you plenty of time. They usually tell you at the beginning of the semester when the test is going to be. So you can attend my study skills session. There's going to be one next week. I can tell you how to study and how to prepare, but all I'm telling you today is you have to prepare. You have to study as many hours as necessary for any upcoming test. Sometimes people don't know how to study on their own, so that's when I refer to using outside resources such as the tutoring center, the writing center, the speaking lab. Whatever you need, we offer here at Kane University. So don't hesitate to always reach out for outside resources. Maybe you want to do also a study group or study session, go visit study hours, and much more. Make sure you have good understanding of the concept or the subject that you're studying. I always say do not memorize the information. Always try to understand the concept more than memorizing, because once you understand the concept of how the thing works or how the professor came to that conclusion, you're able to do all of the other questions. Take math as an example. You're not going to memorize how to do a question. You're always going to understand the concept. So whenever any question is thrown at you, you're able to follow these steps. I'm not saying you shouldn't memorize in general. Try to memorize and understand the concept at the same time. Okay? Oh, I think it skipped. Okay. Always arriving early. Arriving early to the test will increase your confidence. It will give you a minute to just breathe, to focus, to narrow your focus on what the test is all about. It will allow you to take last minute questions or listen to last minute questions answered by the professor. So it's always better to arrive early than arriving late. Once you arrive late, you're rushing, you're trying to settle down as fast as possible. The professor's trying to give you the test, or if it's an online test, the same thing. The professor's trying to give you the test and not explain or not repeat the directions that was said at the beginning. So once you arrive early, you kind of get the advantage of getting all the information, all the directions, and narrow your focus on what you need to do, and kind of just settle down and get a mental break before you start the test. Okay, when we listen to last minute instructions, that doesn't have to be 5 minutes before the test. Some professors have a review session, some TAs have a review session, so a teacher assistant can have an outside session, and I would always recommend you attend that review session. I feel like a lot of information will be thrown at you in that last minute review session than maybe the whole semester or the whole time that you were studying for that test. Listen to what's covered on the exam. Sometimes professors take away topics that they don't include them on the test. Sometimes they tell you, oh, you remember that last problem that we did for derivatives, something like that won't come on the exam. Or they would say derivatives, and I'm just a math teacher, so I'm always thinking of that calculus. I would say, limits and derivatives and integrals are going to be on the test. So you would know what to narrow your focus and when you're preparing what to most. I would always say, always ask about questions, how the format of the test is going to be. Is it multiple choice? Is it open-ended? Is it fill in the blanks? Like, try to prepare so you know. If it's multiple choice, you're able to narrow down your answers. Maybe you would look up multiple choice questions in the book. If it's open-ended, you're gonna plan to write a lot. If it's an essay or if there's a free response, you would prepare yourself, and when you're studying, you would try to understand more of how to write about the topic rather than just filling A, B, C, and D. So always ask about the format. Professors, if they have the test already ready, they will tell you everything there. It's not a secret of what the test is going to look like. A lot of the questions that when I attended college was like, how many questions are on the test? What is covered on the what topics should we narrow down? And most of the time, professors will go on the board and they'll just write bullet points of what's covered on the test. So copy this down, take a picture of it, whatever you want, so you're able to refer back to it when you're preparing. Okay, do a memory check. Sometimes this doesn't make as much sense when there's nothing you have to memorize. But when you're memorizing, and I said don't memorize everything, try to understand the topic. But something like chemistry, biology, or math, for example, you have to memorize formulas, memorize equations, or sometimes you have to memorize numbers. Once you get focused on the test, sometimes that information gets lost. So as soon as you get the test, try to write formulas, equations, or numbers on the top of the test paper or on a scrap paper. Don't write it on the desk because that will be considered cheating, but I'm saying as soon as you get that test, write your name on the bottom. Just write the formulas that you were memorizing and crunching up in your head. If you arrived early to the exam, you're able to do a last minute check before you receive the paper. Once you put all your materials away, that memory is fresh in your mind, just jot it down on the piece of paper. It's very easy. It helps you. And once you're so focused on other questions on the exam, you're able to go back to it when you need it. Okay. My computer's freezing up. Oh, here we go. Okay. Read the test directions carefully. Watch out for details. Some professors tell you to answer 3 questions out of the 6, sometimes 5 questions out of the 10. So it's not a trick. Professors expect you to read the directions carefully. They're not going to try to explain it to you over and over and over. Sometimes the test looks like it's very heavy, very long, but once you read the directions, you're kind of like, oof, settle down, because you are only answering 5 out of the 10. And guess what? You have the choice to answer the 5 out of the 10. So choose the ones that you know the best. Answer the ones that you know more or are confident with answering rather than answering the difficult ones. There are sometimes questions that look like they're multiple choice and they will have one answer, but on the side it would tell you, choose as many responses as possible, or which ones are that question. When they say which ones are instructions on how to graph an exponential function, you would have more than one answer to that question. So try to circle as many responses as the question needs. So watch out for that. Also look for words like not, didn't, or does not include, the words that are negative, the words that sometimes you read the question very fast and you answer it so quickly and you're not listening or you're not reading carefully that it's asking for the exclusions rather than inclusions. So try to focus and read the directions as much as possible. I always say this to my students, especially my high schoolers. I say, always answer all the questions. What are you losing? You're not losing any credit, right? So answer to the best of your ability. Take a chance. Leaving it blank will guarantee you a 0. Putting something down might give you some partial credit if a professor gives partial credit. So try, give it a chance. You're not losing anything. I know sometimes you just throw a blank in there, you have absolutely no idea what to answer, but try to, if you were well prepared and you understood the concept, just try to understand it to the best that you can, so you're able to earn some partial credit. Partial credit adds up. So I know you might not get the full 10 points, but if you're getting 2 points here, 2 points there, 3 points there, you're basically like getting something back, and maybe that will save you from getting from a B to an A, or from a C minus to a B, something like that. My last thing, when my computer stops freezing, okay, here we go. Plan your time, plan to finish early. So I always say, once you receive that test, try to flip through it. Don't automatically go into question number 1. Write your name, do a memory check. So all the information that you've memorized, formulas, all of that, write it down, and then take a moment to estimate how much time each section will take you. You're the best judge of yourself. So you know if there's an essay in there, you're going to take 30 minutes to do that essay. So make sure that you're estimating at least 30 minutes to do that essay. If there's some free responses in there and you need to answer 3 out of the 5, you know that you need at least 15 minutes, 5 minutes each. So estimate that you would need 15 minutes plus the 30 minutes. That's 45 minutes for the last 2 pages. The first 2 pages will probably take you 45 minutes, something like that. Try to just do calculations. Pace yourself to finish in the time allowed. Remember, if you are taking too long on a question, skip it, move on, go to the questions that you are going to answer quickly. Try to collect as much points as possible in the little amount of time. So if a question is taking you so long, try to just collect all the coins, all the points that you can from the questions that are easier, that rather than the one that's taking the majority of your time. Now, at the end, when you finish complete all the questions that you know first, obviously that's a given. If you don't know a question, circle it. When you're done with the whole test, go back to the questions that you circled, the ones that are difficult, that you didn't know how to do, and try to do them last minute. Once you're done, and that's why I tell you to finish early, is take 5-10 minutes at the end of the test when you finished early before submitting it to double check for spelling, grammar mistakes, questions that you didn't answer, questions that you skipped, maybe the question that was taking way too long, go back to it and make sure you completed all sections and all pages that are required of you to finish. Don't submit a test early that is half done. Okay, try to coin as much points, try to answer all your questions. Okay, and then the last thing that I would like to say, every test that you take in the beginning of the course, the first test that you take in that course, try to analyze your performance. Try to see if you underestimated or overestimated your studies. Try to modify as you go on. So obviously you're not taking one test. Most classes have either a midterm and a final or 3 exams. So once you see the model or the structure of the exam that the professor is giving you, you kind of can expect what's happening in the next tests or the next quiz or the next exam. So you're able to see what's happening, what to expect next time. Did I understudy? Did he include too many multiple choice questions and I wasn't prepared for that? Did the professor maybe make the exam way too easy and I overstudied and I overanalyzed the test? So try to modify as you go. You're the best judge of yourself. You know how to prepare. So if you underprepared and you had no idea what was going on in the test, maybe it's a clue for you for next time to actually do better. And at this time, I will take questions. You can unmute your mic to ask me anything. I would try to answer it to the best of my ability. Okay, since we don't have any questions at this point, this would conclude my study skills workshop. You can feel free to reach me at via email. My email is Ghosheh, that is GHOSHEHR at kean.edu for any questions or any concerns that you might have. You're also able to reach our learning center in the library. And then you're also more than welcome to schedule a tutoring appointment with any of our tutors. As you know, I'm an academic specialist. I work at the tutoring center, so feel free to reach out to us as well.